Sniper.
What's the order?
Send it.
Taking the shot.
Target neutralized.
I have recently gone down the path of choosing a voice command interface to go for and picked VoiceAttack. I've made a profile that I'm using for my single player squad command that I decided to share now. I won't waste too much of your time and instead go directly into a showcase of the major features. There are some that I haven't seen in other Arma voice systems, and I'm particularly excited about one of them. We won't be going into detail on every single command. There are about 215 now, of which most can be spoken in several different ways instead of action menued, which of course is the point of using voice commands. There is a list of them. Check the description, and if you stay to the end of the video, I'll do some more discussion on VoiceAttack, setup, and my reason for switching to it. Anyway, let's take a look at the actual main features of the profile. For starters, I'm working on making the vanilla commands function in a more natural way, but first I want the command set to be as complete as possible. There is a trade-off between lots of command variety and voice recognition performance. Too many available voice commands slow the voice interface down since it adds to the number of items that the computer has to listen for and then use probability checks to determine which one you actually wanted. My problem is that I can't really quantify those limitations, thus I'm aiming for quality in the commands first, meaning I want the computer to understand the few commands I actually use. But my main way of gaining control over how well the commands work are to run them in different modes. The profile supports 3 different modes at the moment. There's efficient, feedback, and immersive mode. Efficient mode is the default one, and it keeps feedback to a minimum. Nothing to distract from the gameplay. If you switch away from it, it can be accessed again by saying efficient mode. It is tuned to work as fast as I can manage whilst still have commands come through reliably on my machine. Let me demonstrate. Efficient mode. 2, 4, 6, hold fire. Hold fire.
2, 4, 6, hold fire.
Squad. Open fire.
2, 4, 6, weapons free.
It's pretty fast too on the selection of the first 9 units. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. Disregard. Well, then there's feedback mode, which constantly plays a confirmation beep after commands to let you know whether they have been executed by VoiceAttack. This is helpful as a debug mode, and if you can't keep the VoiceAttack window visible on a second monitor to keep track of it, use this if you are playing on low FPS and suspect that the key presses that are coming from VoiceAttack are coming in too fast for the game. It's also nice to be certain that commands are executed during the heat of combat, so let's check that out. Feedback mode. That's the beep. 2, 4, 6. Hold fire.
2, 4, 6, hold fire.
Squad. Fire at will.
2, 4, 6, fire at will.
Finally, and it's kind of silly but somehow still fun to me, there is immersive mode. And depending on commands and if you told the profile who you are, you will get varied confirmation spoken back to you. It can be polished up a bit by getting a better text-to-speech synthesizer for Windows, but those usually cost money, and you might have to tune my text-to-speech code for that to work really nice. Immersive mode.
Greetings. Sorry, I don't know you. Please set your name and/or title.
All right. Set my name. Smith.
Affirmative, Smith.
Set my title. Commander.
Affirmative, Commander.
Hello.
Hello, Commander Smith.
Well, there you go. I'm working on a system to slow down these profiles in all the modes for use with low FPS situations. At the moment, it simply slows the key presses down by 250%, but I was hoping to build something where you could set the speed manually by speaking. You won't be able to tell the difference in this video, but the commands are, let me see, slow mode,
Slow mode enabled, Commander Smith.
fast mode,
Fast mode enabled, Commander Smith.
and fast mode is the default one. Well, as I got knee-deep in having the system speak back to me with this text-to-speech stuff, it led to the voice-activated help. I put that in to help remember what options I have without having to tab out of the game to check a command list or something. Right now it's accessed by simply saying help. That command in turn will give you a list of other help commands you can use. Help.
To get help on a topic, simply say, help, followed by one of these commands. Selection. Roles. Movement. Behavior.
Shut up.
Combat.
So let's check out roles. Help roles.
Designation, and selection, of AI roles. Say the number of the AI, followed by a role, such as 4. Assign medic. To then select the medic, say medic. Possible roles are medic, or corpsman. AT. Grenadier. MG, or machine gunner. Ammo bearer, or
Shut up.
ammo.
So that leads us pretty nicely into the next feature, which is role assignment, and that's the thing I'm pretty excited about. So I put the ability to call squad members by their role instead of just their number. It does rely on you to designate which AI has what job yourself, though. It kind of blew me away with how much of a difference it made to me for actual gameplay. It's so much easier than remembering what number or team color the machine gunner had, for example, and instead simply say MG open fire without having to look at the squad bar. It definitely adds to immersion as well. I wanted to have a system where I have one generic function where you could assign a squad member whatever role or name you like, but I'm still working on that. 8.
8 reporting, Commander Smith.
Assign medic.
Roger, 8 acting as medic.
Disregard. Medic.
Go for medic.
So that's the system. And I can of course add more. 5. Assign AT.
Copy, 5 acting as AT.
Or maybe 2. Assign driver.
Roger, 2 acting as driver.
3.
3 reporting, Commander Smith.
Assign gunner.
Affirmative, 3 acting as gunner.
So there you have it. Disregard. Well, the role assignment, profile modes, and some other things rely on variables to be set by you, the user. So some variables are reset at each restart of VoiceAttack, but I'm planning to have some variables saved between sessions so that the profile remembers what voice mode you prefer, for example, or maybe it could remember what name and rank you've set for yourself. So having a reset command to execute will at least be useful in the future. Reset profile.
Profile has been reset.
And now I shouldn't be able to call the medic. Medic. And that's the sound that confirms that I don't have the medic set, so I gotta assign him again. 8. Assign medic. And since I now have the efficient mode set, so I won't get any beeps or any text-to-speech to tell me I have made it work, but I have to look at the actual VoiceAttack program to see it. Disregard. Now I should be able to call the medic. Medic. And there we go. Disregard. The thing that made me start writing my own profile at all was that I wanted to add support for the mods I use myself, like C2 Command and Control. In regards to that particular mod, most of what the voice commands do in this profile for unit selection can be accomplished by holding Control while speaking the vanilla command. That is the beauty in how this mod is built. It complements vanilla commands rather than replace them. But the dedicated C2 commands are still useful, and they add to immersion. So I've set the word unit to designate C2 usage. You just slap that on before the selection order or the actual order you want to give. Unit 2. And that gives me the HUD mode Unit 2 selection. Unit 3. Unit disregard. Unit stack right. So that's the stack right order. And I use Control and right click to confirm. I could set that to a voice command, and I probably will in the future, but it's not in right now. Unit disregard. For the FHQ combat mode mod, there are really only 2 commands that need to be supported, and that would be enable or disable auto combat. Those are in, so auto combat engage, or maybe auto combat disengage. So top right corner tells me now that it's the mod is actually working. I have more mod support planned, but as I said, I'm going for bare minimum here. Well-functioning commands first, that's what I'm looking for. Well, moving on, since you can dictate text to the computer, I couldn't resist adding a dictation notepad. It's another silly little feature, but it's actually nice when you need to remember something. I have some ideas on how to polish this feature, but right now it can take 8 seconds worth of dictation and read it back on demand. Take dictation.
Please start dictating.
Target is dressed in black and carries a hockey stick.
Dictation was target is dressed in black and carries a hockey stick.
Yep. That should be a target you would be able to spot, I guess. Read back dictation.
Dictation was target is dressed in black and carries a hockey stick.
Oh, great. I forgot about the hockey stick. Good thing I used the dictation notepad then. So you see the point. Last thing I'll mention is the auto run feature. Could be useful to someone, but I guess I mean jogging. So I never really used this for Arma, but some people seem to, and it's dead simple to create, so it's in there now. Auto run. Well, you can't really tell me if I'm not pressing the keyboard right now, but to stop this, simply say the same command again, or just press W, like so. So those are some special features of the profile. You can probably test some of them by using the trial version of VoiceAttack if you need a proof of concept, but seriously, it's only $10. Well, with the showcase out of the way, I will indulge in some discussion and setup pointers, I think. Okay, so I'm gonna start with why I decided on VoiceAttack. I used to play with Articulate before going with VAC for a little bit. I've also looked briefly at GlovePie and checked out online material about Liverit. In the end though, the capabilities and ease of use of VoiceAttack made me trade the natural and speedy flowing command system of Articulate for a slightly less natural but programmable interface. It has resulted in my own profile. It's written from scratch. It's not as extensive in variation as, say, JoJoTheSlayer's voice profile for VAC, but I've gotten the chance to put my own spin on it with stuff like role designation that I showed before. Oh, and as a side note, I found a well fleshed out German profile for VoiceAttack. It's by Alpha Kilo over at the Bohemia forums. I only speak lousy school German, so I can't use it, but if you're so inclined, it's linked in the description. Some quick things about the actual interface VoiceAttack. It uses Windows Speech, meaning it will work for whatever languages that speech system supports. VoiceAttack supports programmable logic, and it does that in a neat and simple way. It supports text-to-speech and audio playback. It can be used to affect other applications other than Arma. It's $10. Yep, 10. It's really worth it. It does have that drawback of where each command has to be spoken separately. Point being that Articulate supports selection and command in one sentence. Something like 246 open fire. Whereas VoiceAttack and VAC doesn't. It would be more like 2, 4, 6, open fire. In VoiceAttack with this profile, you can call unit numbers in quick succession, but the order has to have a slight pause before it can be spoken. It would be 246, open fire. So it's coming along. But let's take a look at the setup. I'll keep this brief, but here's what you need to do to get this profile going with VoiceAttack. I will assume that you are using the paid version of VoiceAttack for this, so you gotta start by getting VoiceAttack, of course, if you haven't already got it. So I'm not going to bore you with how to do that, as it's easily Googled. I'll put a link in the description though. Make sure to set it to be run as administrator by changing the properties for the program shortcut or the exe itself. When VoiceAttack is up and running, you'll need to download the profile. I have links in the description for that too. After you've downloaded the compressed file and put the contents in your VoiceAttack installation directory, you'll need to take the two sound files within that and put them inside of the folder sounds that is located within the VoiceAttack installation folder. There should now be two sound files called confirmation_beep.wave and failure_beep.wave within that folder sounds. Now you gotta go to VoiceAttack, create a new empty profile by clicking this button and selecting Create New Profile. And choose Import. Then you gotta find the .vap file and choose to import everything from that. So now you have the profile and it's loaded into VoiceAttack. You're good to go. For the best experience, and especially if you are in comms with others, I suggest you use a push-to-talk button for VoiceAttack. Here's how to enable it. You go to Settings by clicking the Settings button, click the Hotkeys tab, click the 3 periods button to the right of Recognition Global Hotkey, then press your desired hotkey and select the option VoiceAttack listens while the keys are down. If you're so inclined, the option furthest down is a push to arm function, which is really neat as well. I sometimes use that, it's more or less depending on mood. The two other options though are variants of always on, which I don't have much love for in Arma myself, since I talk aloud a lot when I'm by myself. Yes, I am a crazy person. Other than that, there are a few keybinds that are required within Arma for some of the commands to work. I'm looking at making the profile match the default Arma settings, but in the meantime, it boils down to the fact that the profile currently uses the tilde key as the command key, so that has to be bound. Other than that, there probably isn't anything that would be a complete showstopper. Keep a lookout for a revised version of the profile if you decide to use it. I will update those keys, but you could also change your settings within Arma to match the profile, but I'm looking to make it work for vanilla Arma. There is a command list within the compressed file that you downloaded. Look through that to find the commands that you can use. It's a better starting point than the voice-activated help, while the voice-activated help is pretty neat to have after you got yourself up and running. Also, it has to be stated because it can make or break your experience. Use the training option for the Windows speech recognition. It may or may not be obvious, but it's not you who is to be trained, but the computer. Each time you run the training session, the system gets more acquainted to your voice and your way of speaking. It then adjusts its probabilities to better pick out words from the sounds you make into the mic. Do it once or twice the first time, but after some time playing with voice commands, make sure to have done at least an hour or so in total. It'll really make a difference. Try to speak to it as you would while playing, not as a newscaster as the training session tells you, unless you simply can't get it to understand your regular way of talking. Okay, so that's a wrap on the first version of my VoiceAttack profile. I have some plans for other features and I will fix some of those that are already there. I also want to make it more efficient and natural to talk to, so that's the plan. Check back on the forum topics in the description for more information and to keep track of any changes for me. Of course, you could also adapt this profile to suit your own needs and build on it yourself. But at the very least, I hope to have opened some new doors to having fun with AI command in Arma. Alright,